Hey guys, Graveyard Graham, Midnight Ride. I've tried recording this episode like two or three times and it's just kind of wandering at this point, so I'll be somewhat brief about it. I watched season three, damn it, episode three of Daredevil Born Again, and it was fine. I'd give it about 3 out of 5 stars. Gonna discuss it here, a little bit spoilery, but I assume most of you guys aren't gonna watch it. Whatever, that's fine. It's a bit of a tonal change from the first two episodes. I don't think there was even a single F bomb in this one. But this was more of a courtroom drama where previous seasons of Daredevil have done really well. Like, hey, let's bring up an interesting legal case. We'll play a little bit of Law and Order in the MCU. In this case, Matt is defending a man who's accused of killing a police officer. His name is Hector Ayala. If you're more than a casual fan of the comics, you'll recognize that name. And I'll be honest with you guys, I did not. But they established in the season premiere of this show that there are two vigilantes running around Hell's Kitchen. It's not just Daredevil, there's also a guy named White Tiger. And he's some kind of really strong, fast martial artist type dude. He's got a white and black striped suit, as you would expect. He wears an amulet. The amulet gives him powers. And he's out, busting up convenience store robberies and just doing generic heroic stuff. Hector Ayala is from Puerto Rico. He's in Hell's Kitchen, and he's off to save the day. But he's on trial because while he was just out walking around wearing his regular clothes, he saw two guys beating up a third guy at a subway station, and he intervened. And one of the two aggressors fell onto the tracks and got hit by a train. And the guy they were beating up got away, and then the third guy who survived pulls out a gun and a badge, and it turns out he was actually a cop. And he arrests Hector, and he's charged with killing an undercover police officer. Matt finds out about it. He offers to represent the guy pro bono, and throughout the course of his investigation, both he and the prosecutor discover that Hector Ayala is this elusive white tiger figure. Matt and the prosecutor meet with the judge to talk about that piece of information, and Matt is able to persuade the judge to suppress it so that it doesn't unfairly bias the jury, because the jury is going to have enough feelings as it is about a potential cop killer, but public opinion on vigilantism is heavily divided, so it's going to make it even more complicated, which is cool. I like this legal analysis, legal maneuvering side of things. Justice is blind, but it's not just about Matt Murdock going up and beating up guys who beat the system. He tries to make the system actually work the way that it's supposed to. But when they find the confidential informant that the undercover cops were beating up, and they bring him in to testify, but then it turns out that the guy is too scared of the cops and decides not to. Matt has to throw a Hail Mary, and he ends up revealing in court that Hector Ayala is the White Tiger. And the judge is super pissed at him. He's like, dang it, after all this, blah, blah, blah. But that changes the course and the tenor of the trial, and they're able to start calling up witnesses, people who were saved by White Tiger's vigilantism, and they're able to kind of characterize that to the jury as this is not a bad guy. The undercover cops were beating up this confidential informant. What happened with the one cop dying was just an accident, and Hector Ayala should be set free. So he's ended up found not guilty on all the charges, and as a result, Kingpin is pissed. The Kingpin storyline in this one, he's like, we need to be a law and order people. We're fighting vigilantism, and this was a miscarriage of justice, and blah blah blah. In my write-up on Substack, I said that the writers of this show are definitely writing Kingpin as Trump. That's their template is, hey, he's this criminal guy, but now he's a politician and people are divided on him. It's okay, on the one hand, you could say that that's just them, writing current day-isms into a storyline, but it could also work in a vacuum. If they're going to lean too hard into it, though, it could become a problem. And like I said, they haven't had Kingpin put on a red hat and say, make New York great again, but they're leaning into the media narrative around Trump with this kind of parlance and saying, law and order, law and order. It's That's never really been Kingpin's ethos because, hey, he was a mob boss and like all of a sudden he's running on this. And it's not because it does any real like service to the character or his values. It's because Trump says law and order. And so now Kingpin has to say it. This is the kind of stuff that can damage the caliber of the show going forward. We'll have to see how they handle it. But I wanted to call it out as I saw it and say, hey, okay, if the whole point of doing this show this way is to kind of right the ship for the MCU, but then they end up not being able to suppress their lesser devils and instead like just lean into it and say, oh yeah, okay, Kingpin's Trump and Murdoch is going to do something progressive or lefty or whatever. Like, I don't know. I hope they don't go that route, but programs tend to do so. We'll see. By the end of it, there was an interesting twist, and you guys can tab out here if you want to, in case you decide to go check out the episode, because there's a reveal and a twist and an introduction and blah, blah, blah. So spoiler warning here, but Hector puts on the suit after being found not guilty, and he goes out to do his nightly patrol stuff as White Tiger in Hell's Kitchen. And while he's doing that, somebody walks up and puts a gun to his head and just griefs him right there in the street. And as the shooter turns away, you don't see his face, but you see his shirt, and he's got the skull logo on it. And you're meant to believe that it's the Punisher who killed White Tiger, but I'm not sure that I buy that. I have a feeling that this is going to be a bait and switch. We'll see next week. I haven't watched season 2 of the Punisher TV show with Jon Bernthal. I watched, I think, season 1 back in the day. Never got around to season 2. I might do a quick catch up on that one just to see where he's at. But it's my understanding that he doesn't actually go around a whole lot wearing the Punisher shirt in that show. I wonder if this is somebody kind of doing a false flag thing because Kingpin was mad that White Tiger got let off as a vigilante, and he's like, oh, I'm the law and order guy. So I think it makes a little bit more sense that he would have somebody going around, false flagging as Punisher to get rid of vigilantes, so that he would have more of a reason to flex his power as the mayor and say, hey, we need to button this up and put a stop to it. That would be consistent with the pattern that he established in season 3 of Daredevil, when he was able to kind of steal the aura and the moniker of Daredevil away from Matt Murdock and put it on Bullseye. You had Matt fighting Bullseye wearing the Daredevil costume. Like he's done something like that before, so we'll see how it goes in future. I thought this was an entertaining episode. I like the legal cases. I think the season 2 of Daredevil was, half of it was really good and half of it was really weird. And it was like the Elektra Undead Ninja side of it was really weird. But the Punisher side, and especially like the legal case against the Punisher, was really entertaining TV. And I like it when they do that and when they do it right. And while this one wasn't as dramatic or as exciting as that case, handling the White Tiger in court was pretty good. And, hey, they managed to wrap it up in 2 episodes. One of the big complaints, and this is a valid one over the Netflix show, was Netflix at the time was hellbent on having 13 episodes for every season of whatever it was. And you didn't need 13 episodes to tell that story. You ended up with a lot of filler and a lot of protracted pacing, and it was just bad. This one, they're doing 8 episodes. That allows it to be a little bit tighter, and they're not wasting time, dragging out a story over 3, 4, 5 episodes. Wrapping it up in 2 was pretty cool. Although it would have been cool, I think, to see a little bit more of White Tiger. It really makes me think maybe he did pop up in a different show. Maybe he was an Echo or something. I don't know. Don't care. Not going to watch it. But pretty good episode for this week. I am at work now, so daggum it. Sorry. Y'all drive safe, and I'll see you out there.